Number 21. Manufacturer's maintenance instructions when FAA approved. Manufacturer's maintenance instructions when FAA approved. So which of the following contains approved data for performing a major repair to an aircraft engine? And that would be the manufacturer's maintenance instructions when FAA approved. Manufacturer's maintenance instructions when FAA approved. All right. Number 22. Entries that in the engine maintenance record and FAA Form 337. Entries in the engine maintenance record and an FAA Form 337. So what maintenance or record or records is or are required to following a major repair of an aircraft engine? Well, you need entries in the engine maintenance records, and you need an FAA Form 337. Entries in the engine maintenance records and an FAA Form 337. Now, this goes out. How many FAA Forms 337s do you need? You need 2. All right, a minimum of 2. One to give to the owner, and then another one to give to the FAA. The correct answer would be, say, 3 of them. You give one to the owner for his records, one to put on the airplane, and the third one is sent to the FAA. That's just in case. All right, let's continue. Number 23. Current manufacturer's maintenance instructions. Current manufacturer's maintenance instructions. So a ground incident that results in a propeller suddenly stoppage would require a crankshaft run-out inspection. What publication would be used to obtain a crankshaft run-out tolerances? Well, that would be the current manufacturer's maintenance instructions. Notice that it says current, okay? It says current for a reason, and the reason is real simple. The maintenance manuals are constantly getting updated. So you would have to use, on something like this, the most current, all right, manufacturer's maintenance instructions, all right? The most current manufacturer's maintenance instructions. All right, 24. Applies to all IVO-355 engines, serial numbers T8000 to the T8300, having less than 2,400 hours total time. Let's find out. So, select the airworthiness directive applicability, which applies to the IVO-355 engine with a serial number of T8164 with 2,100 hours total time and 300 hours since rebuilding. Well, it's right there. The serial number gives you a range of 8,000 to 8,300. We are 8164, right? We do have the correct IVO 355 engine, all right? And then it says having less than 24 hours total time. Well, it's total time. I have 300 hours since rebuilding. So that means that time since rebuilt has been 300 hours. So we do have less than 2,400 hours. So this one is also very self-explanatory. All right, let's move on. Number 25, engine manufacturer's service instructions. Engine manufacturer's service instructions. So what publication contains the mandatory replacement time for parts of a turbine engine? That would be the engine manufacturer's service instructions. Engine manufacturer's service instructions. What publication contains the mandatory replacement time for parts of a turbine engine? Engine manufacturer's service instructions. All right, let's move on. Number 26. by a letter stamped on the hex of the nozzle body. By a letter stamped on the hex of the nozzle body. By a letter stamped on the hex of the nozzle body. So how is the flow range of a fuel discharge nozzles installed in a fuel injected reciprocating engine indicated? By a letter stamped on the hex of the nozzle body. By a letter stamped on the hex of the nozzle body. 27. Airworthiness limitations section. Airworthiness limitations section. What section in the instructions for continued airworthiness is FAA approved? And that would be the airworthiness limitations section. Airworthiness limitation sections. So for continued airworthiness that is FAA approved, look at the airworthiness limitations section. Number 28, cracks. It's cracks. So which of the following conditions is usually not acceptable to any extent in turbine blades? You should not have any cracks on the turbine blades. None. No cracks. Cracks on the turbine blades. None. You should have any cracks on the turbine blades. Cracks. All right. Number 29. Only the first one is true. So serviceability limits for turbine blades are much more stringent than those for turbine nozzle vanes. That is true. Serviceability limits the turbine blades much more stringent than are those for turbine nozzle vanes. All right? That is true. Only the first one is true. Guys, take a quiz, and I'll see you soon.